Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for attending this second part of the Learn to Swim framework. Today I will be presenting with Boris Trumbel. So yesterday, our colleagues, Aisling and Aldo, presented the first part of the Learn to Swim framework, which was the framework as such. Today, we will speak about the vision and the challenges of the framework that we have. We have been working with the European Aquatics and the Learn to Swim Commission about that. But first of all, I just would like to reintroduce our members of the Commission, because you saw some of them yesterday presenting the framework. Others are in the room. So just for you to be familiar with the faces, and please feel free also to discuss, exchange with them. So please, Rokur, if you can stand. Rokur Jakubstovu from Faroe Island. Boris Trumbel from Slovenia. Mary McMorrow from Ireland. Aldo Costa from Portugal. Laurent Choubini from France. I don't know if Laurent is here, not yet. Cato Bradbach from Norway. José Luis Hidalgo from Spain. Aisling McKeever from Ireland. Eva Platonov, I don't know if he's in the room, from Latvia. Pavel Murans from Latvia as well. And Carlos Bellon from Spain. Jan Kepush couldn't attend the event. So let's speak about the vision that we have at European Aquatics for the Learn to Swim framework. So as you can see, there is no age displayed on the screen. We worked on stages. It means that this Learn to Swim framework can be adaptable to all ages. Yesterday, we had the perfect example with François Potvin. He showed us a very good video of a 100-year-old lady who was swimming. And we think at European Aquatics, in having the adequate Learn to Swim framework, we can teach to everybody at all ages. So it will be composed by 12 stages with 3 awards. And we will reward some awards to all stages when the participant will complete them. Regarding the assets of such Learn to Swim framework, so my colleagues and I have been working on the Learn to Swim framework in line with the WHO recommendation, but also in line with the UN agenda. And we think that it's quite important for the future, for the fundings that we will apply for the project. What are the real assets of such Learn to Swim framework? Around Europe, if we have a standardized framework, participants will feel more confident in their abilities and knowledge in the aquatic environment, leading to the reduction of drownings. Parents, it's really important as well, parents will feel more confident in bringing their children around an aquatic environment. We will be able to increase the number of people exercising around Europe, which will lead to economic benefits in terms of public health. And then, proposing such framework, we can propose a continuous progression in passing the different stages with long-term goals to the different participants. So here we were speaking about dropout around Europe as well, so it will be a good way to keep our children, to keep the people exercising in swimming. Finally, the Learn to Swim participant, the people who will attend and participate to our framework, will receive an award. This year, we started to collaborate with Leverate, which is a company designing virtual awards, and we implemented that since July 2023 at our European Swimming Junior event. Just have a look to what we implemented, and this is something that we want also to implement in our Learn to Swim framework. So here we will have the Bronze Award, the Silver Award, and the Gold Award. We are thinking also about a printable version for children. We are aware that digital is not for everybody, so we are thinking also about a printable version. The next step is how we would like to implement our framework. It will take the shape of a pyramid, with the basis will be European Aquatics. European Aquatics is the governing body of 52 European federations. And with this project, we would like to strengthen the relation that we have with our federation. We all know that you have in all your countries your own Learn to Swim framework. Not all of them are equal. Some of them are stronger, and some of them are weaker. So what we would like to do with our framework is to standardize and to have the same framework everywhere. So we will collaborate directly with the national federation. We will certificate European evaluators who will train national trainers and who will train Learn to Swim participants. In this way, we can multiply the number of participants who will attend to our Learn to Swim framework. And our objective here is to involve a maximum of stakeholders in our program. What we will propose to Federation, it's kind of a partnership based on 3 pillars. The first one will be the program, which is standardized, as you understood yesterday. The second one will be education and training. And again, here, we will standardize a training for evaluators and national trainers. And then finally, assessment. Assessment, which will be also a big part of it. 3 key stage checkpoints at age 6, 9, and 12 for the assessment. Just to give you more information about the program, so as you can see, National Federation will be responsible to deliver the recognized European framework. National Federation, and we saw that with Hungary earlier as well, will be responsible for identifying the suitable instructors which will deliver the framework at a national level and who will train the national trainers. Then, European Aquatics will deliver to the Federation a standardized swimming qualification for instructors and national trainers, which will lead to the education, how we will implement that. We will implement that with the creation of a license for European instructors, deliverable every 2 years with online courses and with practical exam. European swimming instructors will then educate their coaches, swimming teachers, trainers in their own country. And again, if you remember this shape of the pyramid, it will allow us to multiply the people with aquatic knowledge. Finally, it's an objective for European Aquatics to have a continuous and to develop a continuous professional development, webinars, e-learning, videos, etc. We saw some very good examples of national federation. I think that the one of Estonia was great as well. So we will try to work on that and to propose that to the federation and to the people who will be certified at a European level. Regarding the assessment, we are still at the beginning of the project. So we collected data from the National Federation with a national survey. We had quite good results, but we need to go further and to feed our database. For this, we will ask National Federation to deliver an annual report on swimming competencies at key stages. In this report, we will set a certain number of criteria to be reported, but I wrote some examples like the number of participants of the Learn to Swim program, number of coaches trained, number of people achieving the competencies, the level of promotion also that the federation will do at a national level. Finally, it will be our responsibility as European Aquatics to collect all this report and to create, let's say, a mega database where we will be able to provide it to federation, identifying successes, challenges, and areas of development. Here I noted some assets that could be good for national federation, so having a certified European Learn to Swim framework, increase the level of national standards, even though we know that some of your framework, the strongest one, will be more complicated than ours, but we are here to standardize everything, and the zone of action as well, which will lead to the increase of swimmer a number of swimmers at a national level. Then they will be able also to develop their database. We think that it's very important. And having a better overview about how many people know how to swim and how many don't know how to swim. Finally, and it's linked also to the presentation that we had earlier with Mr. Andreas Schleicher, it's to have the biggest leverage in front of the governing bodies. Our objective in LEN, and Mr. Schleicher said it really clearly, will be to implement a Learn to Swim framework in curricula, in school curricula. And it will be a real challenge. Boro will speak a little bit about that later as well. Here are a few other assets that we noted. The first one will be developed a little bit later, but it will be also a big project for LEN to create a European Aquatics development platform. Regarding the strategy, so as my colleagues and I told you, we are at the really beginning of this project. We want to start slow and to develop slowly, being strong, strengthen our program. And for this reason, we would like to start with a pilot project of 2 years, with minimum 3 federations to be selected to implement this program. A very good question yesterday, I don't remember from who it was. It was about a ranking of federation. So it will be our responsibility as well as Learn to Swim Commission to try to make a ranking and to categorize the different Learn to Swim programs that we have around Europe and to make them from the highest level to the lowest level. Here, we would like to have 3 levels of Learn to Swim program. Why? In order to evaluate and collect the relevant data, to report about the implementation of Learn to Swim framework, and the most important, to gather all best practices and challenges in order to create a Learn to Swim manual that we will distribute to the national federation. Then raise the public and political awareness and present the framework to the different stakeholders with a main objective of including this framework into the school curricula. One of our projects as well for the future on the midterm would be the creation of a European Learn to Swim kit. So we know that the cost barrier is something really important, and we would like to close this gap for the participant and make the sport accessible for everybody. So we are thinking about the creation of a Learn to Swim kit with swimwear, goggles, towels, etc. And we hope to implement that for the pilot project. Regarding the Learn to Swim platform, this is something that we're working on as well. We are thinking really hard about that, and we think that this is a future where we can centralize all our resources, and federations, evaluators, national coaches would have access to that, which will consist of a European database, an education library, where coaches, trainers will be able to pass courses online, attending to seminars, having access to video contents, having access to communication support that they can use for national promotion, etc. Third objective, midterm one, again, it's to use the European Championship to highlight CSR action. With a great example that we have, I think it's the European Open Water Cup that we are organizing every year, 6 legs every year, all around Europe. And we would like to create some Learn to Swim actions at this event. So it could be one day before the elite competition and involving local schools, which will be in contact with elite athletes. They can meet their aquatic idols. They will understand the importance of knowing how to swim. They will be able to perform some fundamental exercising with the aquatics idols and athletes. It will be a good way also for us as European Aquatics and as for the local organizing committee and federation to promote aquatic sports, but also to do some sustainable action and raise awareness about global warming. What is next? So as we told you, we are at the really beginning. We are waiting for you also a feedback. And for this reason, with the Learn to Swim Commission, we will create, after this event, a Learn to Swim survey that you guys will fill in. We know that there were a lot of feedbacks after the presentation yesterday. A lot of questions were asked. And we are here also to discuss with you in order to improve our framework.
Thank you, Farouk. So you saw the vision, you saw the dreams, but we will have many challenges in this journey of implementing everything. Why? Because we are quite aware that we have very different backgrounds across the Europe. We saw that from the survey yesterday. Swimming teachers have the opportunity to learn up to 500 hours in the qualification course. Some teachers don't need nothing in Europe. We saw that many countries have governmental program, many have only non-NGOs programs, federations programs. We are aware that we have different social background, different cultural background, different history regarding the Learn to Swim program. So we should be aware of all of that, and we are aware of all of that. And because of that, we also know that we have different stakeholders to tackle. So governmental system is a very complicated system. Non-governmental system is much more easy to change because it's not so working so according to the different rules. And we are aware that governmental programs, those nations who have governmental programs, have usually long tradition. They are usually difficult to change. I don't know how many of us, of you were in the process of the changing of the curriculum of single states. That's a huge process, a lot of work. And we are aware that these systems will need a lot of time to change. And we will need a lot of work, a lot of speaks with the politicians and different stakeholders to change these systems. On the other hand, it will be easier to adapt in our swimming federations, in our swimming clubs, because it's easier to make changes, it's greater motivation to reach high standards, and we would like to have high standards, very pragmatic standards in the future, which will be available to everyone. Maybe in the future we could have European School of Learn to Swim of Excellence. We need criterion, we need everything to adapt, to be all of us to implement this school of the excellence. And of course, it will be easier to implement a new framework rapidly. Regarding presenting, we have to be aware that in Europe, at this point, when I look at the statistic, we are speaking about 14 million children under the age of 14. And we are speaking about the army of the swimming instructors on different levels of education and knowledge who will perform this framework. And again, we will try in the future to get at least these minimal standards, minimum number of hours to be achieved by the swimming instructors to be a good teacher. We were not discussing these problems in this conference. It's too short, unfortunately. But we have many questions we are asking. I already said to some of you that we will try to involve you to the Zoom meetings in the future, all of you to participate in this process. It's very important that we hear your information. Where are the obstacles to start with this framework in your country? How can we find a solution for these obstacles and so on? So we are aware that we are at the beginning of a very long process for implementation. We are at the start of the journey. It's exciting. We have, I don't know, I said yesterday at the session that we have more than 500 years. In 2038, it will be the anniversary of the first swimming book. by Heinemann, which was published in Germany. And when Patrick Pelayo presented the history of Learn to Swim, he found more than 500 books and regarding the Learn to Swimming throughout Europe. So we have huge tradition. But again, if we look, Alfred Hayosh, the first Olympic champion in Athens, I don't know if you know that, when he swam, I think the water temperature was 12 degrees. And when he won, he said that he was so fast because he was afraid to drown. And look now, the Olympic Games, what happened in 100 years. So we are at the start of really exciting. In this conference was visible that there are many aspects to be discussed, that we are working hard and we have more and more knowledge. We should just establish cooperation between us and have a solid change of trust. I like this phrase. So we should trust each one. And then we should have a common standard. Before was presented by Mr. Schleicher data regarding regarding the swimming knowledge. This was discussed yesterday, which country is the best one. Actually, that data should be carefully read, because they asked, they called to the single nation, how many children are able to swim. And we have different standards. We saw from the survey that in some countries it's 25 meters, in some countries 200 meters, and it's difficult to compare this data. And we should find, we all together, if we would like to answer to the question from yesterday, then we should find a common standard which will be monitoring to all Europe and say, in this country, this is the number of those who are able to have. And then we will have a little bit more possibility to say which the system is the best one. Now we are only at the beginning of this journey. And it's very important that you all will contribute to the success of this long journey. So let's cooperate. When we will have in the future with our commission Zoom meetings, and we will start with the simple question, where is the best age to start with systematic learning programs in schools, for example? How many hours are needed to get certain standards? Everything has to be defined. The framework was already defined. So we have the aims of the single stage. Now we will need the program, how to obtain and how to reach the awards which we presented. Everything is open, but from when we are discussing outside, unfortunately, we don't have time in this conference to discuss all the aspects. But it's very valuable what will be your response to what we presented. Because the world is changing, we are changing, and it's very important that we stand behind what we said. You know, also, very important things. I don't know, you know probably CPR, what is it? So resuscitation, how CPR is provided. ILCOR, the society, like we are now here, sit together, speak about the best way how to resuscitate. And each 4 years, they decide with the rising of hand what we will all perform in next 4 years regarding CPR. This is the way. Science, practitioners, statistics, and then they decide. This is probably our future. You have a lot of practice, you have a lot of experience. Those who are working at university, researcher, we have a lot of knowledge. We try to know different insights into the program. And then we have just unified. And this conference is the first one to unify all of us. And this is our future. Thank you. Thank you. Hello again. A tough day, but we are close to the finish line. So I will present Slovenian system of swimming education very shortly. And let's start from the basics. So in 1992, it was estimated that 25% of population was not able to swim. So we started with the system education and at different levels. And again, we are talking about the civil society, swimming clubs, swimming federations, scouts, and other federation or organization, and of course, national level, governmental level to the swimming education in schools. This is our system. Each of these parts has their own program for the swimming. So in the kindergarten, for the children up to 6 years, we have mainly 10-hour course. It's not mandatory for everyone, but mainly local authorities use this program for the kindergartens. The main aim is to play in the water, to be adapted to the water, to glide. So at the end, we would like that all children are able to glide in the water after these 10 hours of playing in the water and achieving some skills. In first triad, we have 22-hour swimming course from 1998. This is very structured, so again, adaptation to the water, obtaining basic water skills, and then in 20 hours we start also to learn one of the technique. At the end, the aim is to swim at least 25 meters in one of the swimming technique. And usually, we are reaching this standard. It is mandatory. All pupils in Slovenian schools should participate in this program, so almost 100%. Everything is financed by the local authorities, local governments, and by the national government altogether. Only the cost of the transportation should be sometimes paid by the parents, nothing else. In the second triad, we have, I think it's quite good practice. I don't know in how many countries you have it. We have so-called school in the nature. So basically, all the children in the schools have winter school in the nature and summer school in the nature. During winter school in the nature, they learn to skiing and see what is happening in the mountains during the winters and so on, also with our subjects, biology and so on. During the summer camp, they go for 5 to 7 days to the seaside, and they learn about, again, the biology of the sea and so on, and learn to swim around 30 hours, again, the second course. So we have 10 plus 22 plus 30. This is usually at the age of the 10. It's not obligatory, but almost 100% of the schools practices these schools in the nature. When the children are at the age of 12, we again test the whole population in the schools. So almost 100%, almost all children. And we see if they are able to swim 50 meters. This is definition in Slovenia of the swimmer. And those who are not able to swim 50 meters are included again in the 10-hour course with the aim that everybody is able to swim 50 meters with the starting with dive into the water and so-called safety measure. From the civil system, we have Slovenian Swimming Association, swimming clubs which learn, I said also parents and different associations. So this is going simultaneously. What we do at the end, I will skip this because we are at the end. Only educated or qualified swimming teachers can learn in Slovenia, nobody else, with the license. So at our Faculty of Sport, we have graduated coaches or professor of physical education. They have at least 60 hours of education with also other subjects like pedagogical, didactics, and so on. And at the end, they have the qualification to learn to swim. All physical education teacher is mandatory for them. And then we have our system of Slovenian Swimming Federation, when swimming instructors have, according also to the law, at least 80-hour course, and coaches with 160 hours. So what are our criteria for assessing swimming skills? First, 5, 0 to 4, are for the children mainly in the kindergarten or in the swimming clubs, in the swimming schools. And actually, you can see that their level is written. They are non-swimmers. But we stimulate them with different practices to improve, and we give them awards according to their achievements through the process of swimming, of learn to swim. Our definition, because we have discussed with colleagues in the break that also that OECD results should be carefully written, because we have different definition of who is able to swim in different countries. So it's not possible to compare it exactly. Our definition is able to swim 50 meters with executing security tasks during swimming, start with diving. This is our definition. Then we have also other things, so we try to introduce to the system new swimming technique, and also stimulate their capacities, not only swimming technique, also capacities. And then this was the last added to the system, is mainly for the swimming clubs, to those who train, so that these sharks were introduced after Peter Mankoc was part of this system. Because of that, we put 200 medley for you, Peter. We made also YouTube presentation. It's working, the mouse? So, okay. It's a film for all those who would like to perform this criteria and to test either their children, either their parents. We have a manual, so parents can look, coaches can look, swimming instructors, everybody can look, are freely available, and also a film how these tasks should be performed. So what are the results? This is the most important. So at age of 12, we screen the whole population of children. And these are results, and you can see that we are now considering that the definition is 50 meters with the swimming security task and dive into the water. And we are now, this year, at 80.9% of all population at age 12 who are able to swim 50 meters. If we consider 25 meters, we are at 100%. So we are a small country with only 2 million, and of course we can do that. And we were able to say to the politicians we are saving lives with it, and they appreciated it and they financed that. But you can see that before the COVID, this is interesting data, so you can see how these systems are sensible. Before the COVID, we were at 93, between 92 and 93%. After COVID, schools in the nature, the third phase of the swimming education was falling because it was not performed. And the knowledge decreased by 4%. So we can see from the data that the system is working. And that we need again to establish all this practice and then increase the number of those who are able to swim according to our criteria. What we have achieved. So this, when my age was 3 years, my predecessors started with the program Let's Learn to Swim. Because in the 1969, we have 128 drownings per year. With all the measures which were presented and implemented through the years, we have now tenfold less drownings than before, than 50 years ago. And that arrows, which are visible, and we were not discussing this at this conference, are also the dates when was introduced law on the prevention on drowning. So the life rescuers were put into all swimming pools, and so also this contributed altogether to the results we have today. We will never have 0 drownings per year because we have also wide rivers, and in this data from the last 20 years, you can see our number of drownings. So it's changing a little bit, but we are quite stable. And actually these drownings are in the wide rivers during the canyoning, during the rafting, during the kayaking, mainly these drownings, and we will never prevent that. But we don't have any more, mostly we don't have drownings on the swimming pools. We have still on the seaside, but on the swimming pools, mainly not. So what can we conclude? That all these efforts are successful and is worth to try, and that this is process. You see, so if we go back, we started in 1969. The number of drownings decreased. We are successful. This is what we are doing, and we are saving lives. And this is our work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Boro. I'll just go quick out to see if there are any hands for some questions before I dive in with my own. Anyone? If you wave your hand like that, you'll end up bidding on something. Cool. Okay. Well, look. There was some fascinating detail in there. What I wanted to pick out in particular was on the testing of students at 12 years of age. Now that is fantastic to see, and obviously great to see the success that it's brought. It's not going to be something, as you appreciate, that every nation would be able to roll out because of restrictions, financial challenges. But when you have a policy that's as successful as that, how do you envisage seeing, a European Aquatics framework for Learn to Swim working with it? Can it work alongside and still appreciate having, those national variations?
Yeah. Why is this conference so important? We saw with the presentation of the data of Survive yesterday that 19 countries doesn't have systems. Now, at the end, we saw that if the system works, we can decrease tenfold number of drownings. So the share of good practice, with these conferences, with our share of good practices, we get, let's say, opportunity to go and to share to our stakeholders who influence on these programs to say, look, in Slovenia it's happening, in Sweden it's happening so, in Belgium it's happening so. They decreased. And we can say to them, look, we have to change. For example, we have discussed with colleagues from Latvia. They have the same population and they are at this number at this point, according to what they said. Oops. They are here at the beginning at 128. We have the same population. They are, let's say, from this point of view, in 1969. From the learn to, so we can say, they can say, look, the same population, they decreased tenfold. We should start to work on that. We will save lives.
Excellent stuff. And obviously, you've helped to create this event and looking at the framework. What will you take from the last couple of days in terms of your experience, the opportunity to network and share ideas?
First of all, like I said in the previous presentation, we should build trust in between us. We should start to help each other with new approaches to learn, with new use of technology. Yesterday it was visible that use of the video technology could be beneficial. It was used new equipment and could be beneficial. So it's very important that we will meet at least on 2 years and discuss what is the best one. More rational we will be, easier will be to implement in single country. And this is important why we should meet. And what I like from this conference, that we meet together those who are practitioners and those who are looking from the scientific way on this. And both together we can have synergies in between us.
An excellent sentiment to finish on. Thank you very much. Boris Jurmala. That's all right. As you mentioned there, it's so important to have that, the communication and the collaboration between so many nations as this framework is hopefully rolled out. We've spoken about it being, at this stage, largely at a concept phase. How do you envisage sort of working with national federations to roll this out in the months ahead?
I think, first of all, with our pilot project. So, as I said, we'll try to select and categorize the different Learn to Swim frameworks. So it will be a big work for us to categorize the Learn to Swim framework. As Boris said, we need to categorize according to our framework, to the common basis, and then we will be able to launch this project. Involving the federation, their feedback will be very, very important because they have a lot of experience. We can see in Hungary that the Learn to Swim program is very well evolved. So we count on actors like them in order to develop our program too.
How can they feedback?
Contacting us, contacting European Aquatics. No, but
details to follow.
No, but as I said, we will distribute a survey to everybody, to you guys, again to the federation. We did that in the past. We are using that more and more often, even for our elite events. So this is something that we will continue to do, to have always a feedback from the federation, from the main actors. As I said, European Aquatics is composed by 52 federations. So without the federation, we are nothing. So it's very important. We are counting on you guys. So thank you very much in advance for your collaboration.
And I'm sure that extends out to, many of these nations, as we've heard, will have forms of Learn to Swim frameworks and ones that have been successful that they want to help enhance. And there'll be a way of working with them to implement perhaps some changes, but on both sides.
Yes, exactly. And I think that having them on our side will make only our program better. Here we worked on this standardized framework in order to give the same basis to everybody, to all European countries. So it's very important to follow that. We are still at the beginning, as we said, so we will collect your recommendation, your advices, guys. You are the specialists as well in your own sector, so we count on you, and that's it.
Great stuff. Any questions out there? Hand straight up. We'll get a microphone to you in a few moments. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Christer Magnusson from Sweden. Have you had any considerations as to the pros and cons of connecting the Learn to Swim programs with the sports, with the aquatic sports, especially when dealing with local governments? It's not always appreciated that you are from the sport of aquatic sports as compared to I'm here talking to you on behalf of, I'm here as a concerned citizen. I want to promote the local, the Learn to Swim programs. Do you understand what I'm saying? That there is not always a good thing to connect it to the sport. You could actually, and then that when it comes to branding and also promotion of the Learn to Swim programs, that it's more a standalone program at times. If you have had any considerations about that.
Like I said before, we had very different systems and very different experience from country to country. For example, to speak about Slovenia, we have in the swimming schools, in the curriculum, the system of swimming education. It will be presented later. And the clubs are together with the schools in connection, that at the end of these swimming programs, they can invite children who wish to participate in the sport. So at the beginning, it's not connected. At the end, those who have some kind of better achievements are invited into the swimming clubs. It's a problem because some schools said, no, you are too aggressive. Please don't do that. And they closed the door to them. So it's up to us to find the ways how to see the talent. The problem is that we are discussing also at LAN, we have huge dropout. Children are not anymore involved in swimming like we wish. It's a basic skill, but again, we are competing against all other sports. And we have spoke in last day regarding the enjoyment in the water. So we like to do what we enjoy. And if we will have in our programs a lot of drill, yeah, they will learn to swim, but they will say, okay, I know how to swim, but I don't like. So this is what we will discuss in the future, how also to find children to start with our programs in different aquatic disciplines. It's difficult, but it's depending from the state to states, this connection, how can be made.
Thank you very much. Just before we finish, one final one. What will success look like to you both in 5-6 years ahead?
First of all, I think that we need to focus on the pilot project that we will conduct during those 2 years. So we will be able to gather a lot of data in 2 years, and we need to focus on this one, first of all.
Understood. Great stuff.
And we hope that in 2 years we will have the second conference of Learn to Swim after this pilot project in order to show you guys the results that we collected during those 2 years.
Absolutely. Cannot wait for that one, but a huge thank you for the session. Oh, sorry, there is another question. Please go in.
Thank you. So first of all, congratulations on this conference, and the purpose and everything is just fascinating what you are doing and well appreciated. I have one question. I think there is one part which is actually also in your leading picture where I didn't hear a lot about in this conference, and this is the parent part. Do you have any plans how to reach the parents, especially considering the children who die in the ages of from 1 to 4, where actually you cannot reach the children, but to educate the parent, which is obviously is a bigger challenge because it's not like school children you can reach more easily.
Yeah, thank you for this question. It's very important. Before we started in Slovenia with the national program and put into the curriculum, we have data that 60% of the children learn to swim with the parents. So we didn't spoke about this aspect in this conference, but it's very important. Do these parents know how to learn to swim? Do they have qualification? Do they learn right? This is one thing. So we have to educate also them. And regarding the awards we have seen, we said, yes, there will be specially qualified and so on. This is still to discuss, because we have first of all to stimulate children to be in the water, to improve their knowledge, their skills, either to the federation or just to the application, so that everyone will see. In this sense, these are decisions of the European Aquatics which should be made. This is the policy of a co-op. So if we will have the opportunity to say, yes, on the internet you can find these awards, you can cite the framework, we can find everything, then it's up to you. And when your children is prepared, then he can be tested and get the award. So parents are really, really important in many, many European countries. I think that we have these programs, but mainly in many countries, parents are those who learn to swim children. Let's be honest.
Did he answer to your question?
Yes, but I was also, but the question wasn't good enough. I also meant the awareness that the parents know the risks at water at this age. So it's also the education on the awareness and how to be around water safely with the children.
I think that the way we can promote it is also through our Learn to Swim action that we will implement. So as you saw, we will involve some local schools, but when kids are going, generally as well, the parents are following. So we will start slowly on that. Then to strengthen our communication also on Learn to Swim knowledge, and everything could be available on our website. I just take an example. Water safety knowledge. We can just upload the video on our website. It will be our responsibility as European Aquatics to be good on that, to communicate, and also try to educate the parents.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. Anybody else got a burning one before we move on? Yes, okay. We'll get the microphone over to you. Thank you, Aisling.
I might just add to Farouk's comments, because we probably didn't cover it in detail yesterday in terms of the framework, but just to mention that the first 3 stages of the Learn to Swim framework also include the parent. So it's not just the child in the water. So it's very much aimed at that 0 to 3 years. So I think that will address some of those concerns. And then, as Farouk mentioned, in terms of the videos, as those resources are developed, you'll see that the videos will include parents with the child, so that teachers are educating the parents more so than educating the child, particularly under 4 years of age. So hopefully that fully covers that question.
Appreciate it. If anyone does have any additional questions, there's kind of the networking lunch once things conclude here in the next hour or so. So do find the speakers and get the questions to them, or as I said, via the feedback forms that will come following the event. But please put your hands together for Boro and Farouk for a great presentation, and I shall hand over. This is where I need a 3rd or a 4th hand. Gentlemen, if you'd like to come over and accept this. Oh, no, please. Thank you. Keep that applause.
Please give applause to Farouk. Farouk worked for this conference really, really hard.
Yeah, the mastermind behind the PowerPoint presentation. Thank you so much.